one of the hardest parts is that when you get into a card game and you really want to get into the competitive scene, it makes it a little bit difficult because the card game creators might not necessarily be giving out as much information as they would like. They might even be ignoring the community in a couple of ways, especially if there's like an overpowered card that is just ruining gameplay, or it's too overpowered of a deck and everyone's playing it, and those who don't play it just have a hard time playing against it. You know, we've seen that in Magic the Gathering. We've seen that in Star Wars. We've seen it in a lot of different card games. We even just saw that in Lorcana with Hiram as well. And so there's a lot going on with that. And then with that as well, there's even a lot of communication that the card game company needs to make as a whole to make sure that you guys stay informed and happy about that. And guys, let me just say that I have been incredibly impressed by what Riftbound has been able to do thus far with the communication effort. I mean, even from the very beginning, they've been already open with that, and even explaining early on the different types of cards that we're going to be able to look at, different kinds of interactions, events, things of that nature. They even hinted, 2 months ago, that there was going to be a rotation potentially in 2028. And it's like, hold on, what is going on with this? The fact that, that Riftbound is able to go ahead and communicate this much stuff so early on. The game is not even released yet in America, and they have already said so much as to what we can expect with this game. And let me just say, that is going to be one of the biggest helps on trying to get new people into this game. So with that said, what's going to be making this so interesting to be able to see is that you are able to find this, of course, on the Riot Games website. You can go to news under the Riftbound category and to be able to see this article. Now, first and foremost, if you do need to see any of the tournament rules here, you're going to be able to click on that and see all of it pretty much laid out. Now, of course, that is probably subject to change, especially as things get closer to happening. But, of course, at least we have a good ground working here with that as well. And then with that, one of the biggest things, too, like I have mentioned prior, that we are looking into a judge program. And, the rules can be a little bit different than what we are potentially used to with other card games. For example, even just some menial rules in the sense of, you draw 4 cards, and then both players draw a card at the start of the turn. And there's a couple of other nuances with triggers and things like that that can really make this game interesting. There's mana rocks that you have to be mindful of, and, you go ahead and recycle a card, and then after that, the mana rock that you have played can basically be a item to basically pay the cost of that. There's a couple of nuances with all of that. And so, being able to be a judge, especially in a brand new card game, is going to be something that is going to really help the game get off to a good spot, especially when you start getting into playing at your local stores and whatever those store champs and things of that nature seem to look like. And so if you do want to become a judge, you can go ahead and look at how it is going to be. Now, of course, with that too, they have, various judge tests, incentives for taking part, and details on how the program will work and how you can get involved. So already right there, really cool stuff. And they also have levels of competition and competitive structure with that as well. So a lot of really exciting things to see with that. And with that, the biggest thing to really look of is, I just really like, again, how they're already painting this picture so that you at least, you don't have the sign-up form just yet. But again, this game hasn't even been released in America. And so that's going to be something to definitely look forward to as that goes. Now, local store events. This is going to be a big one as well. These are events you can expect to find at your local store, and they will begin on a regular cadence following the Origins release event. And any event at this level may include additional pricing as your local store sees fit. So it's a good thing that they do encourage that. And now, of course, the Origins release event is going to be really interesting too, because it's going to be basically pre-con battles, which, pre-con decks do feel really good. I've been playing a lot of the Volibear pre-con deck. I printed it out. This isn't actually a legitimate one, but still, you guys get the idea. Also, the Victor one is really consistent. The Jinx one, it's all actually pretty fairly balanced for a pre-con deck and gives you a really good introduction to the entire game, which is awesome to be able to see. And, it's going to definitely be a casual one, participation reward and things like that. And you can come to expect that, especially with like the pre-release event. It's going to be literally 1 week before the event, and it is going to be sealed, and you get product from the new set, and it's definitely going to be casual in that case. Now, of course, Nexus Nights. Little play on words there. Where have you seen that before? It's going to be weekly, of course, on the day that works best for your store. And the format's going to be store preference, but odds are going to be constructed in that case. And free card packs, including promos, is pretty cool. And going to be casual in this case. Now, Nexus nights are going to be bread and butter weekly events. They'll provide you with regular opportunity to get together with your friends and play Riftbound in a relaxed environment in the way that best suits your store and local community. You can sling some 1v1 or throw down the gauntlet in a 2v2 or free-for-all brawl. For stores with a competitive scene, this will be a great opportunity for you to try out new decks as you prepare for the next step, the Summoner Skirmish. Now, what's that Summoner Skirmish? I'm glad you asked. Right here. Let me point in the right direction. But with that being said, twice per set, 1 month after the set's release and 1 month before the next set release. So really cool to be able to see that, because a lot of times you only get to see maybe one in that case, aka store champs or whatever that may be. And then prizes, you get a participation promo, really standard there. Top 8 promo, which is awesome, and a champion playmat and a round 1 buy at regional qualifier. So that's something that's kind of new here in that case. Getting a round 1 buy for winning there. You're going to have 2 chances pretty much per store that chooses to host these as well. So really cool. We've already had the first promo card revealed in that case, and that is going to be the Ari card. Looks really good as well. Kind of fun to see how that is going to be. Now, Summer Skirmishes are going to be the accumulation of competitive play at the local level. They'll offer the opportunity for you to play and practice, or to put your practice to the test and show off your deck building skills. You are looking to try your hand at the competitive side of card gaming, this is the place to start. Now, with that, of course, there are going to be premier events as well, and that's going to be regional qualifiers and regional championships as well. And we've already gotten a regional basically announced, which is going to be, of course, in Georgia, if I remember correctly. I'm sure it'll say here. But with that, the first ever event will be December of 2025, so maybe a little bit tough at that time, but I'm going to be assuming that it's going to be at least earlier. I mean, that'd be rude if they did it like, December 20th. I doubt they would. I would say probably the first week of December, just to make it easiest. No qualification required. And then on top of that, prizes are going to be cash prizing, promo, best of prizes, regional championship qualification as well. And this is going to be definitely competitive in that case. And now regional qualifiers are going to be open tournaments where anyone with a deck and a dream can come to compete for the glory and prizes, plus a chance to qualify for the regional championship. These events will feature cash prizing and special prizes awarded to the top performer with each specific champion legend. Now, that's something that's pretty different in this case too. So if you don't necessarily think anyone's going to be bringing Teemo, which a lot of people probably will, bad example, but you get the idea, and you perform the best with that Teemo in that case, then you can, win with that special prizing for that specific champion legend, which is really nice. Kind of cool to be able to see. Now, with that as well, regional championship is going to be really fun as well, because, that's going to be the first event, which is October 2026. So that's going to be, there's going to be a couple more regional qualifiers in that case. And with that, then qualification, of course, is going to be required. There's going to be a lot of stuff, and then you're going to be able to, of course, qualify for Worlds, being able to pop in that. And of course, probably depending on how big the event is, especially with what we've seen in other, card games in this case, however big the event is might be depending on how many invites there are for Worlds qualification. That, or depending on even if, there's 3,000 that show up, or there's just, however many, in that case, it's a locked set where it's like, well, top 16 regardless are going to be the only ones who qualify for Worlds at that. Now, with that being said, the qualification for that is going to be required. And so regional championships are the first organized play events that are required qualification is needed to play in the main event. These events are for the best of the best Riftbound players in a region and will come with some of the feistiest competition. The venues will also be jam-packed with side events for all attendees to enjoy. So luckily, it's going to be having a lot there as well. It would be really interesting to maybe even see, I doubt they would, but it would be interesting to see if they did even like a last chance qualifier, something that we've seen in like Cortana, where at the event, day before or whatever, you could possibly qualify for that. And then this is really cool too. And this is something that really excites me, because this is something that Lorcana has messed up immensely with is that they've already announced Worlds. And the first Worlds event is going to be 2027, which is essentially a year and a half after this game has been released. And of course, qualification is going to be required. And there's going to be cash pricing and additional pricing. I mean, probably a really cool promo card, play them out, whatever it might be. Some card games do entire collections of foil promos or whatever it might be. That's going to be announced as it comes down. But, you know, it's going to be really cool to see how this ends up going. Organized play, of course, is going to be professional. And while the details around Worlds are still in the works, which is really cool that they are still even informing us about all of this, I love that. We are planning on having the first Riftbound Worlds in 2027. Now, of course, that is subject to change. So, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but at least they're announcing it and putting the work in on getting that going. That's going to be a big deal here. Now, with that being said, it will be the accumulation of competitive gameplay across all regions, bringing each of the region's best to see who will get to wear the ultimate crown. And of course, more details will be going with that. Now, with that, we are still even getting more information on this as well with rotations and the standard format. And they're pretty much doing what a lot of other card games are doing as well, where once we get to 10 sets, which is going to be around, 2027, 2028, then the first, 4 sets? Let's see. The first, sets 1 through 5 will be removed, and then sets 6 through 9 will be in standard, and we will get up to those next 4 sets, and then sets 6 through 9 will go ahead, sets 4 through 8 will be removed in that case. And of course, with that, that's going to be coming reprints and things of that nature, depending on how it goes. But I mean, if they're already releasing a lot of good legends and things of that nature as well, I mean, and they might even be releasing a better version of, Jinx, for example, or a better Victor, or a brand new character. There are so many characters in League of Legends anyway that still haven't even been put into the game. And I mean, I'm sure they will be by that point, but you guys get the idea. There's a lot of exciting things to where champions not only are going to be a part of the meta, but, new champions are going to rotate in. Some old champions are going to be rotating out. And with that, that's going to be, a healthy part of the game as well. And odds are there is going to be even a broader, format as well. A lot of card games do this, so there's not necessarily, too much answered on that in particular. Now, what would you do if you felt the metagame was unhealthy, an unhealthy place prior to a rotation? Would you consider banning cards? And it's like, yeah, well, while Riftbound team is composed of some of the best designers and competitive card games players, we know that there are orders of magnitude more players ready to push cards to the absolute limits. We will always strive to create a healthy and balanced competitive environment, but we understand the possibility that our metagame can end up in a place where we did not envision or desire. And that's going to be one of the best things about this. And, you don't want to have where everyone plays free deck. You either go against Ari, Victor, or, Set, for lack of a better, off the top of my head. And in that case, and it feels like, especially with this first set, I know this game hasn't come out yet, but there's already been a lot of really good stuff, a lot of good gameplay, and what we've seen so far that's made me, really catch my eye at how wide this meta could very well be in the beginning. Now, is it going to mean that there's out of the 16 or however many there are, I think there's 16 off the top of my head, of legends, are all of them going to be tier 1? Heck no. And to expect that is a little bit foolish in that case. But you can still expect there to be probably 5 or 6 that could be very well in the tier 1, if not high tier 2, that could still go ahead and take down those tier 1 decks in that case. And so that's going to be something that will be really interesting to be able to see here as well, and something exciting to be able to experience with that. And of course, if anything ever did get out of hand, of course, there's going to be bans and things of that nature. But again, odds are, especially from what they've been saying, feels like they're going to be staying away from that a little bit, but totally get what they mean by that, with that being how it is. I mean, that's just how card games are. And so, anyway, the rest of the article has really good stuff in it. Go ahead and read it for yourself. Go ahead and read the rules. But man, again, I am absolutely ecstatic with how much they've been able to put into this game with communication. It's been the nicest breath of fresh air that I've been able to see with this card game. It's something that I've been wanting to have with the other card games that I've been participating in, and they've just really dropped the ball. And so this is something that I am absolutely excited for. What are you guys looking forward to most with this game? What champion are you looking forward to playing in your deck? And what are you most looking forward to at your local community as well? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, guys, have a good one.